Moving back to the left-hand column, we see accounts. This is where we control the syncing of Informant. At the top, you see the Calendar app and Reminders app. Those are the sliders that bring the iOS Calendar and iOS Reminders data inside of Informant. You can turn those on or off. Informant Reminder as task, you can see it says don't import. What that means is that in this particular Informant, we do not bring in the reminders from the iOS Reminders app and convert them to Informant tasks, but you can if you needed to. Below that, we have the sync services, and you can choose from many different sync services and sync accounts. Informant supports Informant Sync, Google Calendar, Google Tasks, Toodle-Do, Evernote, and those can be used together, or you can just use one or two, whatever your desire is, and they'll show up just like this Informant Sync account is here. This Informant Sync account is not logged in at the moment, but if it were, it would show you the last sync date. We could go in and look at the different data options for the sync service and set the parameters for our syncing. And then below that is auto sync. We can see here that this Informant is configured to sync every 45 minutes and when there's a change made to the data on this device. And we have sync activity logging turned on. This because this is a test device in our lab and we want to know what's going on when we're syncing. This is not a requirement to have on. Sync alerts. We do have a sync alert here because I changed the password on the account we were testing, and Informant tried to sync, so it's giving me a warning telling me why it can't sync. Backup and restore. The Informant application makes its own backups once a day, and you can see those listed here. You can also tell it to make a backup now, which will give you an immediate backup, or you can import a backup from iCloud. Informant puts one copy of its backup file in your iCloud account if you are signed into iCloud at the time that Informant makes its daily backup. So you have an off-device backup file that you can refer to. If you do need to back up, you can select a file, and at the top here you can see the menu choices for what you need to do. You can restore. If you tap the action button, you can email the file. You can do many different things. Below that, on the left-hand column, we have the support area, and here you can view support tips. You can send your logs, database, and preferences and open a case to support. You can view your support conversations. You can subscribe to our newsletter, see our privacy policy, and there's a referral area here as well. Below that, on the left-hand side, you see an option for restore purchases. If you had purchased Informant or a subscription to Informant and you had to change devices, or for some reason uninstall the application and reinstall it, you would need to go and restore the in-app purchases to unlock Informant to have it the way it was before. Purchases here lists your purchases from the App Store. Very straightforward. And then finally we have Advanced. In Advanced, you can turn on or off the application logging, and there are several different logging options. Usually you will not need to worry about any of these unless you're working with support to correct an issue. Then we may ask for logging from you. Allow alarm notifications for. This is where you can determine if you want to see alerts from Informant for events or tasks, and if you want the alerts to open the application. Database management is where you control a lot of the items in the database, such as erasing data, resetting alarms, and resetting the cache. Database statistics are just that. They will show you a breakdown of the data that you have in Informant. As you can see here, we have 306 events from Informant Sync and 276 tasks. The task view area where it says location notification radius, this is an interesting setting. Informant uses location alerts, and in doing so, this is almost what you would call geofencing, where you set up Informant with a task at a certain location, say pick up milk at the grocery store, and you're walking and you have it set to 750 meters. What will happen is when the device tells Informant that it's within 750 meters of that location, it will fire an alarm alerting you that you have an open task that can be taken care of at this location. And then it's your choice to act on that or to wait. And finally, we have Show Project Stats. In the task view, when you tap into a project, at the top of the project is what we call a dashboard. It will tell you pretty much at a glance what you are looking at in the task project. How many are completed, how many are outstanding, how many tasks are overdue, what the percentage of completion is for the project overall, and some other things. With this slider turned on, that dashboard's available. Some users prefer not to see the dashboard and just want to immediately go into their list of tasks, and they can do that by turning this slider off. Finally, there's a button there for email settings. This is a way for you to extract your settings file from Informant and email it to yourself for safekeeping, or if you're migrating to a new device and you're reinstalling Informant, you can use this file to carry your settings over to the new device. And when we're done in the settings, we just press the Dismiss button and we go back to the view we were last in Informant.